can you please, if it's okay, and again, just tell the people about the other side of Richard. Yeah, not the personal side, not the business side of Richard.
The
The
business side of Richard.
I mean, you ain't got to now. You ain't got to. You know, you can tell me off
Well,
the
yeah,
street.
it's my pleasure. I'm a CEO of a bilingual call center in Costa Rica. These agents here make outbound appointment setting and lead generation calls. They also take inbound customer support and non-voice support. We do not call you at dinner because if I do, you're never gonna talk to me again. And we're very selective of the campaigns that come in here because this is a very strict Catholic country. I want to make sure that the agents can go home and tell their parents what they do for a living. I prefer to bring in people that sometimes do not have call center experience because they could be bringing in bad habits or be
Right.
a jumper. I prefer somebody that is bilingual and has these skills where I can mold them. It's very easy to teach them a CRM and phone system, but if they're coachable, if,
Yes.
as you say, they have the grit and desire, it's my pleasure to find ways to delegate in order to promote them. It's very important for me as well to give positive reinforcement to the agents. I do it through quality assurance. We listen to their recordings and I can grade them on certain metrics. And I just don't grade on the simple stuff. You and I talk about bedside manner and certain soft skills, diplomacy. Since English is their second language, Donnie, I really focus on the thesaurus so I can expand their vocabulary with similes. So instead of saying words like help, they'll use assist, guide, or lend a hand.
Mhm.
Little things like that. And let's say we're even making outbound prospecting calls. A lot of people are concerned about gatekeepers and filters. To me, I think they're the greatest people. We like to do positive escalations. So where if I speak to somebody and then I get transferred to you, I will say verbally how amazing this individual was and also do certain things in writing. If you get that at a call center, you can get money and prizes for it. That's how they give bonuses out. But if
Wow.
you call certain businesses, churches, schools, organizations, or even friends and family, and you mention others, you give the gift of a positive escalation. They're going to be happy that you call back. They'll give you information on how to close a deal or a company culture.
Right.
And so instead of just going in there and trying to sell Donnie a 1995 book, it's very important for us to build rapport,
Yes.
to do a little bit more due diligence on your LinkedIn profile, on your podcast episodes or your website. So if I have to leave you a voicemail or an email, I can custom make it. And
Mm.
that's only going to separate us from thousands of people that are knocking on your door trying to get sales. Now, not every time we make a call, we get a sale,
Right.
but I increase our percentages by being on the phone longer, by asking more questions and knowing more people in your organization that I can refer to that added momentum in my sales. So it's not like what you see in the movies. We're not the Wolf of Wall Street, Glenn Gary, Glenn Ross, or Boiler Room. There are a lot of call centers that do that. I could personally do that if I wanted to, but I once again have chosen a certain environment where the profiled agent is something that not only the client could be comfortable with, but the agent would feel comfortable making those calls. And so owning a company, if I try to force a fit,
Mm.
someone may not come back. They might quit. And you're only as good as the foundation that you have.
That's it.
And so it's extremely important just to have that sort of sweet spot and balance for the client and for the agent so it meshes and that it works. Because as I said before, if nobody shows up at your Chuck E. Cheese birthday party, you have no friends. So
Right.
yeah, I'm just not going to break you. So as a business owner, I'm constantly looking for ways for you to master levels and to crack some codes and to get better. But I just can't let you become complacent and um, monotonous and bored on the phone where you just go through the motions. That's as I say, you become plastic.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
and there's nothing that's raw about you anymore. And that's a shame when people get into that sort of trap.
Most definitely. And what I hear, Rich, and I'll say this is that you're not building a company. You have built a culture.
Hmm.
And and that's a lot of people. It's that's how you can call it home. That's how people can say CC is home. Because you built a culture. they're not just employees. They're not just people that work here. This is like a family. And these are people that, sometimes, and I, just doing what I do and learning that and working for others. Some places you can work and it's just a job. Some places you can be and it's a home because you feel included, not excluded. Not like, oh well, this is just the person over there that just does this over here. But they are, you look at them and everything that you've said and just talking to you, these are what we forget to call people, humans.
I take it a step further. You remember our favorite class in school was recess. I have a gamification culture here. I collect pinball machines and jukeboxes and arcade machines. So I have a neutral environment, Donnie, where people can go down and meet agents from other departments, let off steam, recharge batteries, hang out with me. Because if you're having a cigarette outside or on your phone on Instagram, you're by yourself.
Right.
But this is a very social environment. And these games are older than they are. So it's so important that they have fun.
Yes.
And that there is a work-life balance. That's essential.
Yeah, and that's great. That's great because and I know personally for me that makes you want to get up and go because you're excited to get there. Like, man, I can't wait to get there. I hear so today and in so many different places how people just be like, gotta go away. Because it's, for me, when they say that, it's because of the culture. There hasn't been a positive culture. There's no positive feedback there. There's nothing positive, and they're not a part of it. They're just an employee. When you change that whole scope around, oh man, you have done it. You have put your hands on the crystal ball. Again, you have made people understand like we are in this. This ain't just me. What you just said, there's not a lot of places that genuinely I can go with the CEO and he's right there and we can have a conversation and it's not like, oh, that
work is work.
Right.
And a lot of the times, my friends, something outside the office could be affecting their performance here. They're not robots. They're not expendable numbers, as you were talking earlier, where people aren't even known at an office. And so I have to take that into consideration because sometimes people have moments. Yes. But my favorite is when they bring their family along, a wife or a husband or their mother or father, and I'll go downstairs and they have to pull me away because I'm going to be telling them for 10 minutes how amazing their son is. And that's just a gift that keeps on giving. And I'm not just saying he's great. I'll give 5 examples because I care. Right. I know about phone calls he makes, a 2-year anniversary, what he did last week. I pay attention to these small things because they claim that people don't. But you and I notice these little details that make a difference.
And I'm telling you, that is, if there's any business owners out there that might not hear what we're talking about, if you want to retain and grow, I'm going to say it again, if you want to retain and grow, these are the things coming from an old employee and coming from a CEO. These things right here, I'm telling you, you would have the happiest people there. They would break down the door just to come work for you. And I think that here is why so many people decided, I'm not going back to work. Or when the pandemic thing, they didn't want to go back. They're going to go out and do their own thing because they felt so mistreated. Or they felt so devalued. They don't value me. But when you, again, that's just me. That's just my old thing. When it's like this, and we can have a conversation. What you just said, those things. Well, I know anniversaries, I know birthday, I know these things, and I can sit and talk to them, and I can talk to their family. When you can do that, that means that you have said this is ours.
Well, these people as well, they don't need to sell their soul for $1. They have options. They don't need to go to an environment like that. But let's address something for a second here. I might create the greatest office environment ever, but there is a natural attrition that happens here. Amazon's in Costa Rica, HP, Intel, and Oracle. There's hundreds of call centers here.
Right.
So I compete, especially against the big boys. So Donnie, I will lose somebody from time to time for a scheduling conflict if they go to the university. Their boyfriend or girlfriend may work there. It might be close to their home, or sometimes it even pays more. There's different types of vocations here.
Right.
But the one thing that they will not do, and you will definitely appreciate this, they're not going to say, Richard defaced me, insulted me, made me do the walk of shame,
Right.
yelled at me. No, 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 that just doesn't happen. And I'm okay with that. As long as somebody is here and we can walk together and grow together, that's great. I sometimes get a 2 weeks notice. Sometimes they just peace out on me. The next thing you know, I got to call my client with a solution, which is fine. Because if you can work through minor issues with a client, they see how you act during tough times.
Yes.
And how it is during good times. And so that just solidifies the relationships with my clients. But I get disappointed from time to time. People I expected a little more from just disappear, or they become a fading flower, because this industry does create burnout. And in the United States, people look a certain way towards telemarketers and call center work. And for me, I was a gladiator that not only survived it, but I thrived in this industry. I started my own, so go figure. Because I saw the art in the speech.
Yes.
I saw the vocabulary and the delivery. And I thought it was incredible if people were able to have that sort of conversations and convert sales sight unseen. There is an art to it. And as long as you practice that craft, I mean, the earnings are your potential is just limitless. You could do very well.
Hey, that is definitely amazing. You know, and again, Richard, I applaud you. I keep applauding you for